It's early again. T-shirt's back, look. Sun's just rising. The things I do for you. Third day running, third pod, probably the most important one. And I say that because it's the biggest game that everyone plays. It's what got us all here in the first place. It is time for FPL. I don't know how many drafts I've made, too many, but I've got 3 in here today. Actually, potentially 4. And then if you're lucky, what I'll do is it has changed slightly. Obviously, that's what drafting is, isn't it? So I have actually changed it just slightly last night and I found a team that I'm really, really happy with. So actually, what I think I'll do is try and give you that one at the end as well, because it's going to change. So it doesn't really matter in all respect. I'm sure I'll tamper with it because that's what we do, isn't it? We draft here, and bear with me while I just load that up so I know it's ready when I need to talk to you about it. You're already in this league. Thanks very much. Stupid thing. Right. Okay. Cool. FPL. Let's go. Other games are available, as you've seen from my last 2 podcasts recently. Yeah, I was going to say something then, but do you know what? We'll leave it. We'll leave it till later. Team 1. Oh, I've enjoyed drafting this year. I'm going to be honest and say it's been a lot harder than previous years. There feels like there's options, good options, and potentially more being added to the league as we speak. Benjamin Tesco, I'm looking at you. For the benefit of the audio, Team 1 consists of Kelleher, Verbruggen, Konsa, Rodon, Virgil, Murillo, Van der Ven, Rogers, Palmer, Wirtz, Kudus, Xhaka, Mark Gahey, Haaland, and Isak. That is your 15. Of course, 15 people, not 11. So, Isak is counted at Liverpool within this draft. I think it's going to happen. I think we are very, very close to him handing in a transfer request. He's made it quite clear he wants to leave anyway. So the next step for him is handing in an official request. But yeah, I can see it happening. I don't see a world in what that doesn't now. It depends on who Toon get to replace him. It doesn't look like Sesko's likely anymore. It looks like actually it could be Sesko going to United. And I don't understand really how Toon have failed to secure anybody that they've gone for recently, and they've been pipped by other teams, if I'm honest. Personally, if you're giving me an option of Newcastle or United, yes, United's history is phenomenal. But as it goes right now, I'll be choosing Newcastle. Very strange. So Isak counts at Liverpool. So let's just remember that. That does give me a Liverpool triple up of Virgil, Wirtz, and Isak. But Liverpool do have 2 tough fixtures in game week 2 and 3, Newcastle and Arsenal. So the question is, do I need 3? Do I need 3? So that's a consideration for me. They are pretty good team. They won last year. I can't see that they haven't improved with the likes of Frimpong, Kirkes, Wirtz. The preseason they've been pretty good. Salah's looked very, very on it, as he always does. Just an expensive player. This team is defensively weak. In fact, Virgil's the only. What do you want to call a premium? Let's say 5.5 onwards then. So Virgil and Murillo are the only premiums in this team. Goalkeepers rotate okay, both 4.5 million. My way of thinking of goalkeepers changes every single year. Maybe go for a more expensive one and have one completely dead on the bench. Like, that's my current new thinking. But yeah, that's where I am with the defense at the moment. I'm not too happy with Konsa as well. I know he's 4.5 million, but Villa don't have great games to start. I don't think, really. They're all right. And I've got Rogers there, attacking threat. I don't think they'll keep clean sheets. They might win, but I don't think they'll clean sheets. So that's a bit of a concern to me. I think Martinez is out first game as well. So Defensively good. Is Gahey a waste of a position? Yeah, totally. He's not going to play much for Sunderland. He's still at Chelsea, by the way. In this, it hasn't updated as of when I did this. Mark Gahey is a waste of a position. They've got Mayenda, they've got Isidore. I can't see him starting games. He'll come on at the end for a bit, so it's a bit of a waste of a position. And I want to get away, and I know that people are firm believers of having a bench rotting of 4 and 4.5 people because you can just chuck all the money into the real team. But once you get 1 or 2 injuries or anything like that, suspensions, you've got to start getting rid of the good players to change things around. And I've been very honest about this for years. I fear not having a good bench. So he's a bit of a worry for me. It is a decent midfield, but am I giving myself a benching headache? Well, actually, do you know what? I'm past that. Don't care anymore. My team, my current draft is a benching headache for the midfield. I think it's very strong, possibly stronger than that. Very similar, actually, if I'm honest. But I am shoehorning myself into wanting to play 4 or 5 midfielders every single week. Even Xhaka, I think, will do quite well for Sunderland, especially in the lesser games. There's a good couple of sides that you're going to play him against. It is a slight concern, Xhaka, because I know he loves a red card. He's an aggressive player, so that's a bit of a concern. I have swapped him out in the new one for somebody else, so we'll have a look at that. Sorry, I said the goalkeepers rotate brilliantly. They don't rotate brilliantly. That's my point. 2 good starting keepers there for 2 decent enough sides, but they don't rotate brilliantly. So you are going to have to play one of them when they've got both a tricky game, which is a bit of a frustration. But arguably the cheaper side of 2 decent playing keepers. So that is team 1. Team 2 looks slightly different. You'd hope so, because it's a pod, and showing you the same team would be fucking stupid. Up front. In goal, we've got Kelleher. He's been a stalwart for me, to be fair. I don't know. Although in the new one, he's not there. So when I was doing the teams, he was the keeper I wanted. And I was playing around with other keepers around him. But Sells for Nottingham Forest came into this one. And I think they rotated a little bit better. The defence is a bit stronger here, I think. You've got Cucurella. Benefit of audio. Kelleher, Sells, Cucurella, Gahey, Van Dijk, Decipher, Van der Ven, Rogers, Palmer, Matoma, Foden, Xhaka, João Pedro, Haaland, and Danny Welbs. So defence is arguably much stronger in this one. Yeah, Cucurella, Gahey, Virgil, Decipher, Van der Ven. You see Decipher and Van der Ven have been pretty locked as well for me. I got rid of Concert from this one and put in Gahey, but Gahey hasn't played in pre-season. Obviously, he was rumoured to be going to Liverpool. I mean, if he goes to Liverpool, I think we've got a 4.5 Liverpool player in our defence, which everyone's going to have anyway, because I think it'll be him rotated a bit with Canate, but he should be a starter, really, alongside Van Dijk, obviously. So it's arguably a stronger defence. You've got two big premiums in there, Virgil and Cucurella. Midfield is, I don't know if you want to say better or weaker or what. The one that intrigues me a lot is Phil Foden. I've had him in a lot of my teams. He's in my current team. I think he's going to have a really, really good season. And he's so low owned right now. It seems that he's priced with kind of, I don't know if you want to call it, it's not premium, is it? He's priced above mid-level with a lot of other players, but has the potential here to be absolutely huge this year. That everyone around him has been upgraded. KDB's left. He did good Club World Cup. He finished the season strongly. Well, not his greatest season last season, but the season before that was absolutely amazing. If we get that Foden at 8 million again, I think he's a steal. And I can't believe I think he's like 3% ownership. It's really low. So Foden's been in my teams a lot. I'm still unsure. Don't get me wrong. I think Man City will rotate a bit, but for him, I think he might be the one that plays the most games in midfield. Mitoma's another one. He's only 6.5. It's not a bad shout at all. But, Brighton have some decent games to start off with. We know what Mitoma's capable of. We've seen it for the last couple of years. So it's intriguing to have him. Palmer, by the way, has been in every single one of my teams, so I don't think he's ever left. I tried a team with Pedro Neto at one point, and I was like, I don't like it. Not at all. I think Chelsea have got too many midfielders, and the only ones that are really safe are Palmer and Enzo, and probably Caicedo. So what do you do with that? You know, they've got so many different play options. It's hard to know really who's going to play around that. So safe bet. Great fixtures for Chelsea. Palmer's a great player. We know what he's capable of. So I think he's 50% ownership or something as well. Mad. So if you're going without Palmer at the start of the season, you're playing a dangerous game. You want to be careful of going against the big ownership straight away. Granit Xhaka is there again. Morgan Rogers. Yeah, I do like Rogers at 7 million, considering what he did last year. If he can do that again, very good. Villa haven't really. They did sign a striker yesterday, I think, but that's kind of more of a replacement for Duran than anything. So Watkins isn't a struggle. This isn't going to take over from Rogers. So I think he's a lock in reality. They can't see anyone going without him, or shouldn't be. Up top then. Haaland and Salah is a big conundrum this year, isn't it? Obviously, it is every year. I've seen a lot of people favour Salah. Personally, I favour Haaland and have done. I've knocked over Tim Flowers again. Every bloody pod, I hit a table, Flowers goes down. The other guys are all right. Haaland is, I think he'll have a great season. Genuinely think he'll be better than Salah this season, and he's been the number one pick in my team every single time. I've made one or two drafts with Salah before, just didn't like it, just didn't feel right not having Haaland in there. So he's in. João Pedro, now, in fact, Haaland and João Pedro in my current draft. I mean, João Pedro is going to rotate with Delap. Maybe Nicholas Jackson, depending if Jackson moves or not, which I think he will, so I don't worry about it too much. But personally, I think João Pedro will play a good 70 minutes, sometimes more. You know, Delap will be maybe favoured in, let's say, cups and stuff like that, maybe. You need a rotation anyway. There'll be the odd game where João Pedro sits out and Delap starts and stuff. But 7.5 million, seeing what he did in the Club World Cup, playing for arguably a better team than Brighton, decent people around him, I can't see why he wouldn't have a good start. So 7.5 million there, I think, with that start Chelsea have, I'm going to risk it. I wasn't going to, but I think I might. And a 30 other percentage of people have got him as well. So there you go. I think he's the most owned forward. So again, I one of those I don't want to take on. Chelsea could score quite a lot. In fact, Chelsea's first 10 games are relatively good for them. I think they play one of the big boys potentially. You know, if you don't go for a 7.5 João Pedro or 10.5 Palmer, you can find yourself way down very quickly for not having just those two at that ownership. So it is what it is. So yeah, I expect Gay to move. Strong defense, but possible rotation headache. I'm unsure on Matoma or Foden. Stronger on attack, but Pedro is a rotation risk. There you go, covered it. Didn't even need to look. Boom. Team 3. Boop. You notice this is missing one of the big boys. Tried it just for fun. Didn't like it. You could put that to a lot of things in life. Tried it, didn't like it. Eight Nori is concerning for minutes. So benefit of audio. Kelleher, Sanchez, Gabriel, Rodon, Decipher, Eight Nori, Van der Ven, Saka, Palmer, Wirtz, Baleba, Tanaka, Watkins, Evanilson, and Isak. This obviously still counts Isak at Liverpool. A good team can be made without Salah and Harder. That was what I was going to say then. Without Salah and Haaland. But I don't like it. I don't think going against one of the big premiums is good. And I think having one of those two does give you options in the future. You know, You can always downgrade to somebody else. You cannot always upgrade. That's the kind of problem. So defense is obviously a lot bigger here. You've got Gabriel, you've got Aït-Nouri. I think having some type of Arsenal defender isn't a bad shout. I don't like the Arsenal forward line. The only one I want is Saka. In reality, they've got some tricky games. So I think spending 10 million on Saka at the moment isn't my play. And I don't want anybody else. Gyökeres needs I need to start seeing him play. I want to know where Havertz fits in because he's only 7.5 million. See how Odegaard gets on. I think the assist thing that they've added this year might help Odegaard a bit, actually. But we'll see. So for me, I think it's a wait and see on the Arsenal attack, but maybe getting an Arsenal defender in. Although that said, when I looked at Arsenal defenders last night, I noticed that Gabriel and Timber are both still coming back from surgery. So that's a slightly concern. And there was two others who were slightly injured. And I can't remember who that was. So there wasn't. I think the defence they're playing against Villarreal today was White, Skelly, Quior, and Saliba. So not that strong. So that worries me going into. We've only got a week left. Are they going to be recovered in time if they're not really coming? If they're still coming back and not going to be featured in any games there at all? So Gabriel's a concern. And I was looking at Timber at 5.5. Because he started over 20, I think it's 27 games he started last season. He was very good. So at 5.5, Timber could be in my team quite quickly. But coming back from surgery and not playing a friendly the week before does concern me. And it should concern you too. Aït-Nouri, yeah, rotation risk. That's the other one. I'm a bit up and down about. He's been in some teams, but I'd rather go Gvardiol. But I've left Man City, I think, alone for the time being. Spoke about Saka, Palmer, Wirtz. I really like Wirtz. He's looked great in pre-season. We know what he was like for Leverkusen. Great footballer, playing for arguably the best team in the Premier League behind what hopefully is Isak. But he's still got some great supporting cast around him that could all finish. His link-up play with the team in pre-season has looked really good. He's even scored one or two. So for me, I think he's straight in. Belieber and Tanaka. So Tanaka is the other guy I was talking about earlier when I talked about Granit. Xhaka, Tanaka. Yeah, Tanaka for Leeds. Great midfielder. He'll get some defensive stuff. I don't think Leeds are. I think Leeds are probably the best of the three that came up. Sunderland might have overtaken them with their signings, if I'm honest, but we'll see. I think Sunderland's defense is weaker than Leeds. But we'll see. But I still think they can do all right against some teams, and Tanaka will get those points, and he'll pop up with the odd goal and assist as well. So 5 million Tanaka, he's a Belieber was just chucked in because I think I needed another 5 million player, and I think he'll have a good season for Brighton, and I think he'll play a little bit more than he did last season. So that's why he went in. But I'm not that happy with that. And then striker-wise, we spoke about Aston Villa fixtures earlier. So Watkins, absolutely fine. Evan Nilsson, yeah, he's got a first tricky game against Liverpool, but you might want to bench him. And then Isak, who I think is going to be at Liverpool. It's a good forward line. So go through the prompts. Yeah, missing one of the big boys. Aït-Nouri concerning for minutes. Using Sanchez as a Chelsea defensive asset. That is something that I am actually looking at doing now. Because they've also just signed Hota, is it? And he's a left back, if I remember rightly. So that would be rotation with Cucurella potentially. Whereas I thought Cucurella would be the only left back and play most games, and possibly still will. But there is that risk. So I think using Sanchez at 5 million as a Chelsea defensive asset, it maybe is a bit better, especially considering goalkeepers now get a few more points. Is that enough? It won't cover Cucurella's attacking threat, but what it is what it is. 3 strong mids, 3 strong strikers, but the Arsenal start isn't great, as I've mentioned. So, yeah, covered that. Absolutely fine. So next, what I looked at as the final slide before I tell you my current draft is who's locked, who's 50-50, and who's not now. And this probably has changed slightly, if I'm completely and utterly honest, because I don't know if I've got Van der Ven in my current team. I don't think I do. But I don't have Kelleher. I've written Rodgers twice. Fantastic. I just fucking don't happen now. So locked at the moment, I would put Haaland, Wirtz, Palmer, Van der Ven, Virgil, Rodgers, and Kelleher. I think 2 of those have left my team since I wrote this. Is what it is. The 50-50 guys, people I've considered quite considerably. Pick out some of the big ones. Obviously, Isak, who I think is going to be at Liverpool. Foden, we've spoken about. Kudus comes in and out of my team more times than Jordan drops or draws. I really don't know how he's going to play at Spurs. I think he'll be good. And at 6.5, I think we could all miss a bloody steal. I can't remember who's in my current team. I'll look in a minute when I tell you it. But yeah, I think Kudus is one that's tough for me. Right now, if I wanted Kudus, I'd have to drop one of Wirtz or Foden, and I'm not sure I want to do that. Murillo in defence is one at 5.5, but I think at the moment I couldn't afford him, so I've dropped to Aina. There's a lot of players in there that I've mentioned. Raya was the other one for Arsenal. I did think, well, if I can't have an Arsenal defender for the time being, or I don't want one, maybe I'll go for Raya at 5.5 when he was in the team. But then I realised that actually Sanchez is only 0.5 cheaper. And Chelsea, I think, arguably would do quite well too. So I'd say I made that 0.5 saving at the moment and went for Sanchez over Raya. That could change. But Raya and Sanchez, I think, for me, would probably be a set forget. Stick him in and get a 4 million guy, probably Dubravka. I think that's how it's set up right now, and just go from there. And then not now for me. So Saka's a not now for me. I just can't trust it at this very moment. Ekitike is another one for Liverpool. Obviously, I think Isak will be there. Ekitike is going to play quite considerably. I think he'll rotate. He'll come on at the later stages for Isak. They can manage Isak's minutes, which is what he needs because he can be injury prone. You know, he's not had that with Newcastle because what's his face? Wilson was out most of the time last season. He's moved on now as well. But he was injured a lot. So Isak didn't have that rotation bit. And Ekitike can play out on the left a little bit too. So, which is good because obviously we've lost Jota, unfortunately. Gakpo plays on the left and he's been great pre-season. At 7.5, by the way, Gakpo is one to look out for. I've considered dropping from Wirtz to Gakpo and saving $1 million. But I just like Wirtz a lot. But then on the left side, they don't really have many players now. So I think Ekitike could be quite good there. Bowen, I know they've got Sunderland. Don't get excited. I think Sunderland beat West Ham first game. I really do. I'm not a big fan of West Ham at all this season. I think they'll really struggle like they do most seasons. So that's not for me. I haven't listed every player here because that'd just be stupid, wouldn't it? But I'm just picking people who are highly owned at the moment, actually. Pickford and Alisson, not for me. Too expensive, Alisson. Pickford, no, I just don't trust Everton as far as I can throw him. Not now, Salah. Seems stupid to say not now, but it's just too expensive. If I've got Haaland, I can always get to Salah for different runs and stuff like that. The chances are I'll have one of those two through the season all the time. And then Mbeumo and Kuna and Bruno, I'll mention all three United guys. I need to see how United are playing. If Sesko moves to them up top, that for me is quite big. I guess they'd play Sesko up front, Cunha in behind, Mbeumo right, and then I don't know who they'd play left at the moment. And maybe they play Cunha left, actually. Maybe Cunha, because he can do that, can't he? So maybe they go Cunha left and Mbeumo right, Sesko up top, maybe Fernandes in behind. That's pretty scary. That's very, very good. They just needed to buy a decent midfielder this year, central midfielder, and they failed to do that, and they failed to put anyone in defence as well. So United are a bit tricky for me, unless they're going for we'll score one more than you because we've got a great strike force. that's fine. Could be some high scoring games for United. Good fun. And then Marmoush is the other one. I think 8.5, bit expensive. I struggle to see how they're all going to fit into the City team, which is why the Foden thing is a little bit scary for me and could change. Okay, the current lineup for me, subject obviously, looks like this. I've got Sanchez and Dubravka, like I mentioned. I've got Decipher, Aina, Virgil, Porro, and Rodon in defence. We've got Rodgers, Foden, Wirtz, Palmer, and Tanaka. And up front, we've got João Pedro, Haaland, and Mayenda. Obviously, putting a Sunderland striker in there, the main Sunderland striker. Think he'll do all right, actually, to be fair. It's one of those to tick over at 5.5. Could I drop it to Mark Gahey, waste that slot, and then have an extra million somewhere? Yeah, it's a consideration. Could upgrade Aina then to someone like Gabriel or one of the Man City guys. Considering dropping Foden, like I've talked about Foden a bit here, but I might consider dropping Foden down to maybe Kudus, 8 million to 6.5, freeing up 1.5 million to upgrade people like Aina, maybe another upgrading Tanaka or Mayenda. I'm just unsure on it. But that's a tough one for me. I need to see what happens with Isak, because if Isak moves to Liverpool, I'm going to want Haaland and Isak, I think, and I'm going to have to drop one of them to. I do have a draft with that in it, obviously. So yeah, I need to see what happens. But we've got a week left, and he's actually failed to obviously, and that's it, by the way. He's failed to obviously train with Liverpool. Yeah, we're a week and a bit away from the Premiership starting, and Isak hasn't moved to his new team, hasn't trained with them or anything like that. Would he even be playing game week 1? Maybe not. And as we know, Liverpool then got 2 more difficult games, so maybe he's not somebody that we want to be thinking about until game week 4 onwards, which is possibly what happens when everybody wildcards game week 4. That I see is a thing. I would point out that I did set up yesterday, and it's not so great now because it consists of Mayenda, Tanaka, and Rodon on my bench. But I did have a bench yesterday that was very suitable for bench boosting game week 1, which I did say I was dead against, but it's such a useless chip most of the time anyway that it's hard to strategize for, and so many times you get a crap bench anyway. Maybe I do get it out of the way. So I did set up yesterday with a team that potentially had a really good, strong game week 1 bench boost. And with that Foden money being saved, if I drop him down to Kudus, there's an opportunity. My only problem with dropping that down to Kudus is then I still have a good, strong. It'd be Rodgers, Wirtz, Palmer, and Kudus, which is still pretty strong, isn't it? Decisions. That's why we do what we do. Okay, guys, look. 3rd and final podcast for this week done. I am now away till Tuesday next week, so nothing more from me. What I'll be doing is that the championship would have started next week, so I will be back with a Gaffr podcast to tell you how I did on game week 1. That starts on Friday, so good luck to everybody. My team is locked now, and then I'll probably try and do something next week as the final draft or final decisions for FPL and the Dream Team. If you haven't yet joined my mini leagues, please do. The codes will be in the description of my YouTube video. There's a lot of people joining them, so really appreciate that. So please come and join them. I will be doing a small prize for FPL only. Haven't decided what that is yet, but I'll decide at the end of the year. Good luck, everybody. Hope you enjoy it. Speak to you soon.